And I'm David. And we're talking about Survivor. We are already mixing things up with the tribes.
Oh my gosh, this was a good episode.
Yeah.
This had me on my toes.
They start with...
Edge of my seat? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
They start with drop your buffs, right?
Yes, they do.
Just right off the bat, we're getting new tribes.
Just to confuse me because I barely got to know these people. And now I'm like, wait, what's the tribe?
Right. And they're not...
Who are they?
Exactly.
Ugh.
And so now we thought last week that it might go from 3 tribes to 2.
Yeah, it did not.
Yeah, but they just reshuffle it into 3 tribes, 5 people each, just to like even out the numbers.
Yes.
So there are some alliances that manage to stay together, some get split up. Jessica and Cole, those lovebirds, they get to stay
together.
Yes.
But Ashley and JP, who weren't actually officially lovebirds, but she was crushing on him, they're split up.
Yeah, which honestly might be better for them because
probably
if they had stayed with Alan, like that was just a whole mess. So at least now.
But Ashley is stuck with Alan.
I know.
Which I was like, oh, poor girl.
Yeah, I know. She has to pretend to like him now.
Right.
And then also on that same tribe with Ashley and Alan, we've got Joe.
Which we said, what would happen if Joe and Alan get on the same tribe, and we saw it.
And it was delicious. And then also Devin is a loner. He's the lone hustler on that
tribe. Yeah. And then the other alliance that we kind of liked was the Cowboy Marine and the like mom, and they got split up.
Yes, which is too bad.
That's too bad. So this episode, after they split up, they play for reward. And the team with Jess and Cole get this PB&J sandwich set up, whatever.
Yeah, chips and good food and all that stuff.
But in these individually wrapped bags of chips, there's an advantage that just happened to be randomly given to Jess.
Yeah, so she's like staring into the bag of chips like, holy crap, I have an advantage. She's like, stop staring at your chips, stop staring at your chips.
Pretty funny. I thought it was interesting that she went and told both, not just Cole, but the other guy, the doctor guy.
Mike, yeah.
Because it was the 3 of them from their tribe that were still together.
Yes.
So she tells both of them, I guess in the spirit of like, so
we're all together still.
We'll figure out who we want to cancel out, and we got control over this.
Yeah. So her advantage is that she has the option, if they go to tribal, to cancel out someone's vote. And it's only good for this tribal council, which I like that they're doing that this season a lot. I like these advantages.
I like that.
And if she doesn't go to tribal, she has to pass it on to someone on the tribe that is going to tribal council.
Yes. Cole cannot keep a secret.
He has the biggest mouth.
Why is he on a reality show? He cannot keep a secret.
It's unbelievable.
And I love that he sort of like backs it up with like, revealing secrets is a way you build trust with people.
Right.
It's also the way you ruin trust.
Yes.
If it's not your secret to tell.
And like, you're in the majority right now with Jessica and Mike. You've got 3 out of 5 people. So who are you trying to build trust with? You're building trust with people who could be easy targets to get out at the next tribal.
And that means there's only 2 people that potentially would have their vote canceled out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just told both of those people.
Right.
What?
So then these people, of course, they realize that they're like sitting at the bottom of this tribe. So they're like, we heard about this advantage. And Jessica's like, what the who that told the who? What?
Cole's all like, no, never. Why? And then like eventually he's like, I might have mentioned it.
Yeah. And she's like, Cole, what are you doing? Like, why would you tell them that?
I was honestly glad later that she had to, you know, will it off or whatever, and it wasn't her team because Cole had messed it up.
Oh, yeah, that was horrible. When we get to the immunity challenge, Jessica and Cole's team wins immunity. The tribe that ends up going to tribal council is Joe and Alan. And
the team with Joe and Alan.
Yes.
So it's Alan and Ashley are together, Joe and Desi, and then Devin is in the middle. That's this team dynamic.
Yeah.
And before they went to play immunity, Joe does an outright, very bold move of telling Devin that Alan and Ashley came up to him and were like, we gotta get Devin out.
Yeah.
Like straight up, wow.
Yeah, just lying straight to his face. Like, this has not been mentioned by anybody yet. So Devin's not really buying it. He's suspicious of Joe, and it just feels weird to him.
Which is, it's interesting because Joe feels weird to me.
Yeah.
So I liked hearing from Devin of like, he was like a used car salesman. Like,
yes, that was so perfect.
Joe does rub you the wrong way. And so I would have a hard time believing anything Joe says too.
Absolutely. Even if you're just meeting him for the first time, which Devin is. He's not been on a tribe with him before, and he already is getting this sense like, you're weird.
And again, Devin is the swing vote. There's a million ways you talk to him and manipulate him over to your side. And that was just such an interesting move on Joe's part.
Yeah, and I feel like with both of these pairs, Alan and Ashley and Desi and Joe, the girls are kind of like, ugh, I'm stuck with this guy. Like, Desi, I think, is kind of like, Joe, what are you doing? Like, why did you make that move? That was such a stupid thing to say. Why would you lie to him?
Desi and Joe weren't, like, really that close on their tribe before.
No, but now they're just stuck together.
And they're not,
It's really unfortunate for these two girls.
So after they lose the challenge and now they know they're going to tribal, this is when Ashley decides to step up to Devin, because Ashley and Alan had already sort of said, like, the healers have yet to be to tribal. They're a bigger group overall.
Yes.
So we need to pick them off.
Yep, because once you get to the merge, if you've got 6 healers left, that's not good for the people who are left.
So in their mind, Devin's not the target, odd man out. They need to get a healer out.
Yeah.
So they had already decided that. So now she goes to Devin to sort of plant that in his mind and sort of talk. And that's when Devin feels free of like, are you being truthful with me? Because
here's what I heard.
Yeah, Joe says this.
Yeah.
And she's like, what?
She's like, I never said that. That's a complete lie.
So now they're like, Devin feels better about this conversation. He feels better about this group. Unfortunately, Desi sees them hugging.
Yeah.
Devin and Ashley.
So she obviously goes to Joe, who's really her strongest alliance in the group, and she's like, I feel weird about this. It seems like they're close. So then what does Joe do? He just like drops a bomb in the middle of everything.
Joe's like, well, now I'm freaked out. What do I do? What do I do?
We gotta talk about this.
Obviously not think straight, Joe. Why would you do that?
So he goes and he's just like, in front of everybody, he's like, so who's going home? We're gonna talk about this?
Literally everybody. And of course they're all like, what are you doing? He's like, well, we're going to tribal. We all know we're going to tribal. What are we going to do?
Let's talk about it.
Okay, well, guess what? Alan doesn't handle this very well.
No.
He's not going to. And he's like, someone's going home.
Yeah.
Of course, we know someone's going home.
Yeah.
Why don't you throw out a name?
So they're both like sort of in each other's face. And like the girls are like, ooh, just trying not to get caught in the crossfire. But they do.
Of course.
Because Joe is like, well, I think Ashley should go home. She's not bringing enough to the competitions. And Ashley's like, what, me? What?
Yeah. And they're like,
why am I part of this?
They're like, why not Desi?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm like, why are these poor girls
I
are like, these two guys are talking about these two girls. It's like, why don't y'all talk about each other?
Yeah, right. And ultimately, I think leaving that whole confrontation, everyone understands that Joe or Alan has to go. Like, these girls are not part of the problem. This tribe is not going to work well together if Joe and Alan are both left on it.
Right, but I think it was obviously Joe. Like, honestly,
for sure.
Alan looked better in this situation.
Right. If anyone can make Alan look sane, it's Joe.
But we all know that Joe has an idol.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And that's why Joe feels like he can act like a crazy person.
Yep.
Because he has the protection of this idol.
But the complication is that Desi's feeling like, Joe, why did you do that? You totally threw me under the bus. Now I feel like I'm the target. My name kept getting thrown out. So
Which
really
is valid.
Yeah, totally valid. And she's like, the only way I can trust you at this point is if you play the idol for me.
Right.
And then I'll have your back from here on out. But like, you just screwed me. So prove that you are on my side.
I was really impressed that she said all of that and, you know, was willing to put that out there because he obviously hadn't thought it through. He thinks he's putting a target on his back. They'll vote for him. He'll play the idol. All is good. And she's like, that's not the way that just went down.
Yeah. So meanwhile now, Devin has been given his secret advantage.
Right.
Gets it from Jessica. He doesn't know it's from Jessica, but he's got the advantage and he's figuring out what that all means.
So let's really break this down because
I was totally confused.
We were talking about this before. The soundbite they use of her, she says, I want to make sure the healers are safe.
Yeah, because she's a healer, so she wants to keep Joe and Desi safe, essentially, on that tribe.
So our question, because we did not figure this out, is why giving it to Devin, does that keep the healers safe?
I was so confused by that, because it's, as I understand it, you're giving someone the power to cancel out someone else's vote. I don't know why she wouldn't give that directly to one of the healers so that they could sort of control the vote at tribal council.
So he gets it. He's already the swing vote, but we already have a blow up and no one seems to know who's voting for who.
Right.
and what's going down here. So what does he do?
So he uses the advantage at tribal council to cancel his own vote.
Confused for a minute, but then I was like, oh my gosh, that was good.
Well, because here's why I was confused. I'm watching it and he reads the advantage as though he's just opened it and is just learning in that moment that his vote is being canceled out. Not that he's opting to cancel his own vote.
Right.
But that what he thought was an advantage was actually a disadvantage. He's like playing it off like, I had no idea and now my vote is canceled.
Right. Because had he decided Alan's vote was going to be canceled, Alan would have opened it surprisingly for that moment and been like, I just got this. It says to open a tribal, so I'm opening a tribal. Oh, my vote's canceled out. Would have happened that way to anybody. It's just that we know Devin made that choice.
Right.
So we're like, eh?
Yeah.
But now, no blood on his hands.
That's right. He just gets to sit by and watch these two teams of two vote for each other.
And whoever comes out on top, maybe he's on their side.
Yeah, he had no role in this elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
it's like a really
Someone
smart.
got rid of his vote.
Yeah, it's a pretty sophisticated move, I think. Like, I don't know that I necessarily would have thought to do that. I just probably would have chosen a side and canceled out a vote, but like, I don't know, it's very savvy to cancel out your own vote so that you're just safe and out of the crossfire of this whole situation.
In that moment, especially, because it's too early. They just became this tribe.
Yep.
It's really too early to pick a side.
Yeah.
It seems like Joe's side is not the one to go with, but hey.
Yeah.
Let's take a beat and not declare that yet.
And especially because there's a lot of talk going into this tribal about maybe someone has an idol, so he just isn't sure like where the power is in this tribe yet. So he just gets to sort of sit back and watch, you know, who has the most power.
Yeah.
And you get to the vote. Obviously, we're thinking it's going to be 2 votes one way, 2 votes the other way, right? Like these pairs are voting together. And Joe then plays his idol. He decides to play his idol. And he has to decide, am I going to play it for myself or am I going to play it for Desi?
Well, Desi was like, yes, play it for me.
Yeah, right.
And when he's like, I'm going to play it for myself, I was like, of course you are. You
of course.
Egotistical, selfish person. You would never play it for someone else.
Right.
But then afterwards he was like, I read her face. I read her face. I knew.
I knew. Of course he says that.
I don't know.
You can say that because you were right.
Right.
But like...
Yeah.
It ended up being the right move because they, you know, 2 voted for Alan, 2 voted for Joe. The votes for Joe don't count and Alan's gone. I
was worried that it was going to be Ashley.
Me too.
I mean, I would have rather Joe go than Alan.
Agreed.
But Alan needs to go.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm not sad to see him go.
I'm not sad to see him go. I would have been sad to see Ashley go. So I was worried for a minute when he played it for himself. And I was like, oh, who did those votes go to? But it was smart to go for Alan. Like, he's a physical threat.
Yep. And now I don't know where this tribe goes from here. Like, I don't know if Ashley and Devin are now going to be a pair and Joe and Desi are going to stick together. Maybe Desi flips over to those two and gets Joe out because he's a loose cannon and he didn't really do her any favors this week.
I mean, that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that they all realize.
Yeah, because now the idol's flushed out and like he can't use that again. I suppose he could find it again next week, but like, you know.
Oh my gosh. If he's one of those that can find an idol every week, I can't handle too much of Joe. But I hope that Ashley and Devin at least can make a run for it. I hope Cole learns how to keep a secret.
And it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. I was interested in the preview. We see Chrissy going up to JP and talking about Rourke wants to do an all-girls alliance. So she's maybe turning against Rourke on that tribe.
Yeah. All right. Okay, you guys, let us know what you think. Yeah, if you understand how giving Devin an advantage helps the healers, let us know.
Yes, please. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.